Making art can be frustrating. You can get stuck very easy, and while art brings so much joy in our lives, the journey can be so rough you just want to throw everything against the wall. But there are some small things you can tweak which will make a huge difference for your creative growth. I'm Selena, this is my little art diary, and in today's episode I talk about 4 big frustrations we face, especially early on, and how we can move on from these counterproductive habits. I was 100% guilty of all of the things I'm going to talk about, but the past few years I was finally able to see big improvements in drawing and painting, and this was only possible because I changed my mindset drastically, so I'm hoping my experience can inspire you as well. While I chit-chat, you can see me painting this mixed media piece with gouache and colored pencils. All the materials are as always linked in the description, and now let's start. Alright, so one of the things I was heavily focused on and very stressed out about was having an art style. Of course, as artists, we all want to have a recognizable style people can easily identify with us. You want people to randomly discover your art and say, ah, yeah, I know exactly from who this is. So you begin to think about, how do I develop an art style? And there are all kinds of advices out there telling you just sit down, study your favorite artists, and take elements you love to then steal certain parts and mishmash them into your drawings and make them your own. Or to just stick to a very specific technique or medium to then let this become your identity. So this is basically what I did. I tried to force having a very specific style of drawing eyes or noses, and I wanted this to kind of always look the same so that it is very recognizable. And this becomes a habit which will very quickly stop you from improving because you have this tight tunnel vision on style. I was so obsessed with creating an art style that I did not want to learn the fundamentals, which eventually actually lead to a style. But in my opinion, style is not something you create on purpose. You cannot actively force to have a certain art style. I believe the style will find you over time. To me, once I let go of this idea to create my own art style, it felt so freeing to not have this pressure of being recognizable. I believe as a beginner, you simply lack the mileage to have a set art style. How can you have a style when you don't even know the structure of a face, an eye, and nose? Yeah, maybe you found a cool way to draw eyelashes, but does that matter when you have no idea how proportions work? I don't think it does. I also think narrowing down your materials is counterproductive. I think you should experiment as much as possible to find the medium which is most suitable for you, and that takes time. Now when I look at my art, I can proudly say I don't have an art style, and I don't care. I do graphite studies, portraits, and figure drawings. I do super vibrant, colorful rainbow drawings, which are just wild and fun. I paint mixed media, watercolor, gouache paintings. It's all mixed and wild, and definitely not that one thing which repeats itself. I'm in a very good place with my art right now, where I am confident in my skills. I know what I can do, but I also know what I cannot do. Yet. So I focus on studying basics, exploring techniques, because honestly, I feel like I still haven't found that one thing which suits me best. I allow myself to take enough time to grow as an artist, to gain more knowledge and experience, and I am very positive that in the future, the art style will find me. So try to not tunnel vision on something which clearly holds you back in your growth. Let it come naturally and focus on basic knowledge, which will make you instantly improve. Speaking of improvement, while I did my portrait practice this week, I thought it would be a cool idea to include you guys. So if you want me to draw you as my weekly practice, either use the hashtag #DrawMeSally in one of your selfies on Instagram or DM me one of your photos. I will then choose one I draw per week. And please, no blurry and low quality photos. The better the quality and lighting, the better the chances are I'm gonna pick you. I will then feature your portrait in my next video, so if you want to participate, go ahead and send me your photos. I can't wait for all the community portraits. Okay, so let's say you finally let go of creating an art style and you're motivated to start a very nice, big, well planned out painting. And as you progress, your anxiety quickly rises because what you created does not look like the vision in your head. This happened to all of us at one point. You have this amazing image in your head, but just can't get it onto the paper. I always felt like a total loser and questioned my whole existence as a creative soul. What kind of creative person am I if I can't even bring my own ideas to life, right? This happens when we have unrealistic expectations of what we can create. You have to keep in mind, it is very easy to come up with a masterpiece in your head, but actually bringing it to life is a whole other story. Especially when you're a beginner, when your skills aren't really developed yet, it's easy to get carried away with amazing ideas, but be honest with yourself and where you stand at that moment. What I still like to do is to collect my ideas and compositions, and if it's a really big expressive vision I have and I know it might be a bit too ambitious for where I am right now, I just save it and keep it for when the time is right. I know I will visualize it eventually, but if I did it right now, I might just end up with unsatisfying results because I simply lack the experience and skill for now. When it comes to visions and ideas, what I tend to do now is to more so focus on the process and techniques I want to use instead of having a set image as an end result in my mind. Fixating on that one masterpiece image in your head will probably set your own expectations way too high. So my tip is to focus more on your current skill level and think about the techniques you love using and adjust your vision to that. Don't have that hyper-realistic masterpiece in your head if you can't draw hyperrealism yet. Another thing I want to mention at this point is that young people often have the idea stuck in their head, and I was no exception, that you have to create art without references. This of course leads to devastating frustrations as well and is something completely utopian. And especially if you have this vision you want to paint without references, I can almost certainly guarantee you the result will not satisfy you. It takes years of training to bring your ideas to life. As always, I just say focus on the basics first. The more you progress, the more complex your art can get with decent results. Another thing which held me back tremendously was hyperfixating on other artists. There are tons of amazing, inspiring artists out there, some of which we encounter just hit the spot for us, and we start being obsessed with their art. I had a lot of artists I admired so much, and I just thought, damn, I really want to be like them. And with that I mean, I want to have their style. I want to paint with watercolors just like them. I want to be seen like they are. You totally forget you have your own identity and want to force another one's artistic voice onto yourself. And of course then you get frustrated because guess what? You are not them. And you never will be. Look, I get it. Thanks to social media, we discover so many more great artists and they all seem to have their craft mastered. They seem to know exactly what they want and how to get there. And you just want a piece of that juicy, moist cake. So what did I do? Well, of course I started copying what they did. I bought the same art supplies they used and traced every step they take to follow along, and what did I end up with? Surprise! Disappointment. Again, you set yourself up for failure because you're trying to be someone else. The best example I can give you is that when I was younger, I saw so many great watercolor artists, and I was deeply inspired to also try watercolors. But ultimately, I had to face the hard truth that is, watercolors are just not my favorite supplies to work with. With watercolors, everyone will tell you, you have to start with light layers and work your way up. Don't let your sketch shine through. Don't sketch onto the watercolor paper. But guess what? My process turns out to be the exact opposite of what all of these artists say, because that's just what I gravitated to and what works best for me. Now, I like sketching right onto the watercolor paper, I like having the sketch shining through, and I like to use watercolors as a solid base color to work with. The truth is just that what might work for your favorite artist might not work for you. You have to get to know yourself as a person to get to know yourself as an artist. I admire artists who work very loosely and rough, and a lot of people tell you just start rough, smudgy, abstract, and follow the flow. Don't worry about precision. But guess what? Me, Selena, as a person, I am precise. I like being precise and accurate. I like working this way. This is just who I am, and I learned to accept it. So it's just a matter of personal preference and taste. Don't get too influenced by your favorite artists. You might love their work, but you might not love their workflow for your own art making process. Let them inspire you to try out new things, but don't let them be your own cage. The last frustration I want to talk about is when you feel like the faces you draw all look the same. This is also known as the same face syndrome. This is something very common and can make you feel very stuck and stagnant. You might even draw or paint a lot, but you're still very unhappy because everything looks the same. This happens when you feel a little bit too comfortable where you are right now. Me, for example, I definitely had my 3/4 angle as my chocolate side to draw. This was the one I was most comfortable with, so I just kept drawing the same angle over and over. And this is definitely the easiest to fix. You know how to fix it too. You just need to step outside of your comfort zone a bit more and look for a challenge. We all know why you're not doing it. You have fear of failure. And that is something completely natural when making art. Trust me. I still have fear of failing all the time, but the fear itself is not a failure. The failure lies within letting it paralyze you and not taking action. To prevent yourself from failing, you stick to what you know you can do best, but this not only prevents failing, it also prevents you from improving. You know very well one day you have to take up that challenge. You can't always draw the same face angle and hide the hands forever. You know the day will come when you finally have to tackle it, so why not let it be today? What is the worst that can happen? You fail. Okay, so what? Then you try again or you try something else. Be a bit more brave to fail. We all fail. To be completely transparent, the face angle you see right now in this video was my most hated one, and I even failed too with the first try of sketching this portrait. So what? I just did it again and tried to correct what I did wrong. There is no shame in retrying, but looking back, I am ashamed I didn't even want to try out of fear of failing. It's all about moving forward. Moving forward will make you feel unstuck. Just give yourself a last final push. I believe in you. If you don't want to be the artist who only draws the same face and same poses, then don't be that artist. You shape what you are, so don't choose to be stuck. All this being said, looking back to my habits back then, it's really amazing how small mindset shifts can change your whole artistic journey. I am more confident and more brave with trying out new things now. I am a better judge of my own skill, and I am not afraid to challenge myself anymore. I still fail all the time, and not every artwork turns out to be great, but I'm constantly moving and not standing still, and this makes me feel extremely positive towards the future. And I hope I can inspire you to be hopeful too. So thank you for watching my painting process, and I'll see you in the next video.